Okay, good morning, everyone. It's already 10 o'clock, so I think we should begin. First off, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us in this press conference hosted by the Philippine Athletics Track and Field Association, or PATAFA. This morning, this press conference, we will be presenting the findings and recommendations of the Administrative Committee. We would like to acknowledge the presence of PATAFA officers, Chairman Congressman Rufus B. Rodriguez, and the PATAFA President, Dr. Philip Ella Huico. Joining us also today are Administrative Committee of PATAFA Chairman, PATAFA Board Member Felix Chukinhoy Jr., and the members of the Administrative Committee, PATAFA Training Director and Coaches Representative, Mr. Renato Unso, PATAFA Athletes Representative, Mr. Arfenri Lopena. Also, a member of the Administrative Committee and a PATAFA Board member is Attorney Melinda Diaz Salcedo. And last but not the least, Engineer Noel Silva, who is also a PATAFA Board member. So just to start things off, we would like to call on Dr. Philip Huico, PATAFA President, to give our opening statement.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Attorney Shirley Sison. We would like to thank everyone for honoring our invitation. We have friends from media and from other sectors. I would just like to start these proceedings by stating that the PATAFA family has always had cordial relations with athlete families, coaches families. We had, for the years, over the last several years, had cordial, good, sincere, and trusting relationships with, for example, the Unsos, who had two athletes, and Nonoy himself is a coach, and April is an instructor, professor. We had the Del Prados, who up to now still have a son in the national team. We had the Posadases, Jojo Posada, who eventually married Elma Moros, our Olympian, Elma Moros Posadas. And of course, we had the Ogienas, Emerson, coach, and Janet, former auditor of PATAFA, and of course, their son, their only son, their eldest, Ernest John or EJ Obiena. All throughout these years, we have nurtured all of these athletes, and they have nurtured PATAFA too. It has been a two-way street. We learn from them, they learn from us. We shared in their joys, in their sorrows. We had some differences which were quickly ironed out in a decent, sober, and gentlemanly manner. The important thing was sincerity. In 2012, EJ was accepted into the national training pool. He was then a student, and I think at that time he was only 17 or 18 years old. So being a national team member and being aware of the requirements, responsibilities of a national team member are not new to EJ. In 2014, in fact, I remember how some of our staff members at PATAFA saying that EJ was brought over to the PATAFA offices even when he was still a very young boy, brought by his parents, especially Janet, by young, really, really young, 5, 6, probably that age. Meaning he was really part of the family. He grew up in PATAFA, and they know the PATAFA culture, the PATAFA system. They know PATAFA. They know the values of PATAFA that were both explicit and implied. In 2014, EJ and his parents came to see me at the lobby of the Sofitel Hotel, and they asked me to introduce him, EJ, and introduce themselves to Mr. Sergey Bubka, the legendary Paul Volcker, who was in Manila for a visit. I introduced them, and at that point, I asked Mr. Bubka, Sergey, can you help this young man? And I pointed to EJ. He's only 17, 18 years old, but he's doing very well. He's way above the others in the collegiate tournaments at the collegiate level. And he deserves a break. And I'm sure he has talent that needs to be developed, but he has to be immersed. And I use the word immersed in a training camp where you will have the training environment and in an area where you will have lots of competitions. Sergey said, sure. And in fact, he said, sure, Philip, write a letter, request for the IAAF scholarship. The World Athletics was then known as the IAAF, International Association of Athletics Federations. And I wrote, I requested for a scholarship for EJ at Formia, Italy, in 2 months. I was informed that EJ had been accepted. Well, I'm sure Sergey pulled strings. I'm sure he used his presence there and his prestige. And he endorsed EJ to Mr. Vitaly Petrov with a statement saying, you help this young man. He comes from the Philippines. He's an athlete of the federation, headed by a close friend, Philip. You help me so I can help the federation, Philip and EJ. So from 2014 to 2017, EJ was there as a scholar, a scholarship that not everyone can have. At some point, there was a time when there were some political changes at the IAAF. Mr. Petrov, who is the training director of IAAF Training Center in Formia, felt threatened that he would be eased out of his position. So he asked Emerson, the father of EJ, if I would write a letter endorsing the continued stay of Mr. Petrov at the Formia Training Center. And I wrote, endorsing him. He was afraid there were going to be changes, and every time there is a change in leadership, people put in their own people and all of that. I will not say that my letter resulted in his being retained. I will not, and I cannot say that. But I certainly did try to help. So onward, fast forward, 2018, scholarship terminated. In between, EJ got injured the day before he was to leave for Kuala Lumpur for the SEA Games. Literally, on the day before, they were practicing at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, and Emerson called me up early evening and said, sir, disgrasya. I felt my rush up. I thought, and it looked serious. The long and the short of it, cannot join the SEA Games in in Kuala Lumpur. The effect, we lost a possible gold medal. So we brought Mr. E.J. Obiena to the hospital. A doctor was recommended, Mr. Tabera, and Dr. Tabera, I made arrangements to advance the funds because the PAC at that time will only reimburse. You spend it first and you present the receipts. Do not pay. Do not pay in advance. So that is the type of care. So from 2018, 2019, 2020, everything was going all right. In Tagalog, nananahimik kami dito. We were giving him the funds. He was liquidating. Of course, there were some differences in the funds. Sometimes there would be delays, the bureaucracy. But things were sorted out with the staff at PATAFA because the instructions were, take good care of him. He is one of our medal hopes. Tulungan in the best possible way. Kung may problema, tingnan kung ano magagawa upang malutas ng maayos. Okay? Naayon sa ating mga patakaran at sa batas. Tulungan. So, full attention given to him. Funds were being released by the end of, by 2021, something like, I think, close to 40 million had been used up to help train Mr. Obiena, excluding his monthly allowances. Okay. Then on September 9, in between, I had wanted to talk to Mr. Petrov, but there were always difficulties that EJ mentioned. It was not possible to talk to Mr. Petrov. So I asked the help of Sergey, who after all was the one who brought EJ to Formia with our help. And he arranged a meeting with Mr. Petrov. I wanted to check with Vitaly what his plans were for 2022, the new season, including all the way up to the 2024 Olympics. And also to thank him for the rapid improvement, gradual improvement, but improvement of EJ. I think he came in there in 2017 or 2014, 2015 at that time, and he was leaping 5.4 meters. Today, it is now 5.93 or almost half a meter. Okay, that he has improved. And Sergey was very proud of that. He would announce that all over the world. September 9 came, and there, Mr. Petrov unloaded his bombshell and started talking about not being paid and asking me to help him recover the funds. And I was, of course, surprised. Actually, the word surprised is an understatement. I felt my chest tighten because I could not believe that all of these years, from 2018 to 2020, there was something wrong with the payment system, which is really a euphemism for there was something anomalous. Okay, so I discussed this with some people, including Chairman Ramirez, including our Chairman Rufus Rodriguez. I told him we have a problem. It seems we have a problem. And these two gentlemen are willing to come up with statements to reinforce what they're saying. And if there is any investigation, they're willing to be summoned and to testify, especially Mr. Petrov. Anyway, I reported it to the board. The board said, let's investigate. And so we have an investigation going on. And after, from November 14 up to yesterday, that's about almost 50 days, the investigative committee has been doing its work day and night, sometimes meeting, I understand, 2 to 3 times a day. And here we are. So what I'm saying is, we did not ask for this. The board did not look for charges against Mr. Obiena. it came to me. I sort of walked in to this closet and found this out. And it is my duty as administrator to ensure that our laws are followed, that the COA rules are followed in the form and in the manner prescribed by law. Why? Because that is our duty. Number two, removing all of this talk about ethics and morality. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want PATAFA to get into trouble. You know, I was protecting myself and PATAFA. So let's take a look at this and find out what the truth is. So there it is. This is a PATAFA action, not Mr. Ricos, not Congressman Rodriguez, not Mr. So and so of the board. This is a PATAFA action, and a lot of deliberation took place. The committee looked at facts and documents. Unlike some other groups, being arbitrary did not overwhelm the facts. We are based on rules, we are based on documents. They have based their findings on documents, evidence, not chismes, not anecdotes, not press statements, not he said, she said, not undocumented, unsigned, unnotarized, anonymous statements. So with that, let me just tell you again, we have a good relation with family athletes, coaches at family athlete coaches. It's just that we have to comply with the law. It is our duty. Nandyan yan, kailangan tingnan. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rico. We would like to call on the Honorable Congressman Rufus Rodriguez to give his opening remarks on behalf of PATAFA. Sir?
Thank you very much, Paniera Shirley. Good morning to President Philip. Thank you for that background. The members of the board of the PATAFA, its officers and coaches and athletes, and our invited guests, especially the media present today. Good morning to you all. Stated by President Huico, we indeed had an investigation after we got the apostille document of Sergei Bubka, which was certified to by the Ministry of Justice of Ukraine, dated on October 31. Then we also have the signed statements of Vitaly Petrov, signed in every page, from these pages up to the last page with the signature and the date, October 7, 2021. And so because of this very, documents which are authenticated, apostilled, signed, we conducted an investigation. Our board created an administrative committee to investigate the matter. The matter of the alleged non-payment of coaching fees of Mr. Vitaly Petrov and the falsification of liquidation reports of EJ Obiena. So that is what we did. And of course, because the PSC, with its goodwill and good graces, wanted to mediate, which was just right. We thank President Butch Ramirez for initiating a mediation, professional mediation by the Philippine a mediation and the adjudication arbitration association. And we immediately acceded. We stopped our investigation and acceded to the request of Chairman Butch Ramirez to intercede so that things will be clarified. Unfortunately, well, we immediately joined the mediation by the PSC and stopped our investigation, EJ Obiena refused and snubbed the PSC. And that is why the PSC had to pronounce on December 27, since EJ Obiena already came out that he is not going to mediation on December 26, it was therefore cut. It was discontinued. And Chairman of the PSC, Butch Ramirez, announced that this mediation is discontinued because EJ Obiena is not joining the mediation. And so with that, we continued, since there is no more mediation that is being conducted by the PSC, our administrative committee to investigate this matter had to therefore continue. After the continuation of this particular investigation by the committee headed by Director for Region 7, Boy Chukinhoy, with 4 members, they have been doing work for more than 50 days, has already come out with this fact-finding report that was therefore in re alleged non-payment of coaching fees of Mr. Vitaly Petrov and falsification of liquidation reports of Ernest Jan Obiena. This was submitted to the board, and the board has studied this, has discussed this thoroughly, the findings, and then finally the board approved the report in toto, including its conclusions and findings, and likewise its recommendations. So this particular fact-finding report of the Administrative Committee of PATAFA to investigate the matter is now an approved resolution of the board that already approves this report, and this is now what will be implemented by the board. And with that, I would like to ask Shirley that we go and now directly proceed to the report by the committee, so that our guests and everyone will see what is the finding of the committee as approved by the board. Thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you, Chairman Rodriguez. Before we proceed with the presentation of the findings and recommendations of the committee, may we request the members of media to put in your identifier or your name the media outlet that you are connected with for easy identification later. Thank you. As stated by Chairman Rodriguez, now we actually move into the meat of this press conference, which is the findings and recommendations. And to start this off, we would like to call on Engineer Noel Salva to present the findings. Noel?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Noel Silva in behalf of the investigative committee formed by the PATAFA Board of Trustees, tasked to investigate on this Obiena matter, on his alleged falsification of documents and mishandling of funds in relation to the coaching fees. So our report was submitted before the Board of Trustees last December 29, 2021. The committee spent almost couple of months going over the documents, interviewing people related to this issue, and also conducting hearings. The investigative committee went over Zoom meetings as well. On August 31, Mr. Wico, Maricor Pacheco, and Mr. Ernest John Obiena and Emerson Obiena had a Zoom meeting wherein they were discussing the plans or future plans of EJ regarding the Paris Olympics and the recently concluded Tokyo Olympics. During the meeting, Mr. Wico have been requesting for the contact details of Vitaly so he could congratulate him, thank him for his support, and also create a harmonious relationship with him. Also, during this meeting, EJ Obiena showed avoidance and also his reservations. That's why on September 8th, Mr. Wico directly called Mr. Bubka to ask for the contact details of Vitaly. And in September 9, they had a three-way call with Sergey Bubka, Philip Wico, and Vitaly Petrov. It was during this time when Mr. Wico was informed that Mr. Vitaly hasn't been receiving his coaching fees from EJ. The three of them also agreed that they will be producing signed documents for Vitaly Petrov and apostille documents from Bubka. On the right portion of your screen, you would see the signed statements of Vitaly Petrov dated October 4 and October 7. We highlighted here the important items 28 to 31, wherein you could see that the questions are as follows. How much was Mr. Vitaly's coaching fees? Vitaly answered here that I didn't receive any fees every month. And on item 29, as far as you know, what was the arrangement for the payment of Mr. Vitaly coach's fees from PATAFA? As I know, there were no arrangements on my monthly fees, which I never received. On item 30, was Mr. Vitaly aware that PATAFA was paying for his monthly coaching fees? Why or why not? I didn't know, as we were not in contact with PATAFA, and I believe to EJ that PATAFA didn't pay me. When did Mr. Vitaly find out that PATAFA was paying for his monthly coach's fees? Please explain. On September 9, 2021, during the telephone conversation with Sergey Bubka and Philip Wico. So this also confirms the conversation that went through among Sergey Bubka, Philip Wico, and Vitaly Petrov in September 9. On the other hand, you would see on the right portion of your screen also the apostille documents of Sergey Bubka, dated October 22, 2021. On item number 12, you would see that on September 9, during conversation between me, Philip, and Vitaly, it was revealed that PATAFA paid Vitaly not directly the monthly salary through EJ, but on the other hand, EJ claimed to Vitaly that he did not receive the money and therefore he didn't give any money to Vitaly. In the meantime, Vitaly said that he received 4,000 euros from EJ in 2020. So this again confirms inconsistency with the signed documents of Vitaly that the September 9 call transpired among Sergey Bubka, Philip Wico, and Vitaly Petrov. On item 13 in the conversation, Philip described the situation that PATAFA has paid Vitaly the monthly fee through EJ in the amount of 2,000 euros every month since the beginning of 2018. And in item number 14, let me highlight that Vitaly also said that last year, 2020, he asked EJ why PATAFA didn't pay anything for his coaching. And EJ said that some money was allocated for his training by the Olympic Commission of Philippines and sent to PATAFA. PATAFA, however, used this money for other purposes. In other words, this money was stolen by PATAFA and EJ did not receive anything. So you would see on the lower portion of your screen the apostille documents of Sergey Bubka, who's the person responsible for the scholarship of EJ from the period of 2014 up till 2017. He is also the World Athletics Vice President and currently the President for the Ukraine Olympic Committee. On your screen, the first question that will be going in our minds would be, was there really fund sent to EJ Obiena? So in the screen, you will see that there's actually 13,320,000 pesos worth of funds sent to EJ Obiena, either through bank deposits or release checks through her mother, Jeanette Obiena. Contrary to the other reports or other interviews that only 3,176,000 was released to EJ, this slide would show you that 13.3 million was actually the actual figure based on the documents submitted to the committee. Out of this 13.3 million, 5,375,000 pesos or 85,000 in euros is intended for coaching fee. Now, please do take note the timeline here, which is May 2018 up till August 2021, because on In 2017, the scholarship of EJ had already expired. So since he's still engaging the coaching services of Vitaly, we have to pay Vitaly 2018 onwards. And then it was August 2021 when this issue transpired, and also the last fund that was transferred to EJ amounting to 1.710 million through land bank check dated August 11, 2020. So again, out of 13.3 million, 5 million is related for coaching fee, which is equivalent to 85,000 euros. Now the breakdown of this 85,000 euros is 15,000 euros, which is 1,500 euros for the first 10 months since May 2018. Starting May 2019, there was an increase in coaching fee from 1,500 to 2,500, and this lasted for 28 months, or equivalent to 70,000. If you total the 15,000 and 70,000, that would be your 85,000 euros, all sent to EJ Obiena in the span of May 2018 up till August 2021. And on your screen now are the proof of payments of those transactions: PNB deposit slips, Metrobank deposit slips, land bank checks, and also logbooks from PSC, which was picked up by Jeanette Obiena, amounting to 6.68 million. So what are the facts and findings of the committee? So number one, in November 12, 2021, the PATAFA President Philip L. Wico called an emergency meeting of the Board of Trustees. During the meeting, President Wico informed the board that he received communications from Mr. Sergey Bubka and Vitaly Petrov regarding the training coach of Mr. Ernest John Obiena on the alleged non-payment of coaching fees. Acting on the report of President Wico, the Board of Trustees then created an administrative committee to investigate the alleged non-payment of coaching fees of Vitaly and falsification of acknowledgement letters submitted by EJ Obiena. In November 14, the admin committee convened and requested all documents from the PATAFA relative to the payment of coaching fees of Petrov. Interviews were conducted. Directives for hearings were also sent to people who are involved, including EJ Obiena himself, who did not appear despite several notices from the committee. Please do take note that we had sent 3 directives from EJ Obiena to EJ Obiena, and also we included the apostille documents and signed statements when we sent those notices and directives. In November 15, the committee sent a memorandum to explain to EJ Obiena why he should not be dropped from the national training pool for submitting falsified liquidation reports and for failure to pay the coaching fees of Mr. Petrov. In November 17, President Wico received a letter through email from Mr. Petrov thanking him as he has already been paid in full amount. Mr. Petrov also attached the transactions as proof of payments to him. So these are the basis of the committee for the payments of Petrov. You would be able to see that on this next slide. So this is the summary of the documents sent by Mr. Petrov. In September 2020, he received his first payment to him. The supporting document is the acknowledgement letter signed by Vitaly Petrov. In November 19 and November 24, there were bank transfers from Arab Bank. So in November 24, the total amount sent was 20,878. As of this date also, Mr. Petrov claimed to have received the sum of 23,800 as coaching fees. However, as of this date, November 24, EJ Obiena should have already paid Petrov 62,500. Thus, the amount of 38,000 euros, or the difference between 62,500 or 23,800 remained unpaid. After the payment of 23,800 in November 24, Mr. Petrov again claimed that he received 5,000 in September 2021, making the total amount received 28,800. However, again, as of August 2021, Mr. Petrov should have been paid the amount of 85,000 euros already. The amount of 56,121 remained unpaid. Again, as I reiterated in the timeline earlier, that the money intended for this coaching fee is from May 2018 up till August 2021. So all those 85,000 euros were already sent to EJ by August 2021. And as of that date, Petrov has only received 28,878. Hence, the amount of 56,121 remained unpaid. It was only on November 4, 5, and 9 that the unpaid amount of 16,000 was transferred by EJ Obiena to Mr. Petrov, while the 40,000 was transferred from a dollar account in Arab Bank and from Jeanette Obiena. While there are other proof of payments presented by Petrov in red fonts, these cannot be considered as payments from EJ Obiena because these payments did not directly come from EJ, but from an unknown dollar account in Arab Bank and from his mother, Jeanette Obiena. The money received by EJ Obiena for his training expenses, including the coaching fees, were all deposited to his account and not to the Arab Bank or the account of Jeanette Obiena. So as far as the accounting is concerned, these payments did not come from him. Based on the foregoing, as a total amount of 85,000 was credited to Mr. Petrov from September 2020 to November 9, 2021. However, please do take note that 66% of this amount, or 56,000 euros, was paid only from November 4 to November 9. So in a span of 4 to 5 days, 66% was suddenly transferred to Mr. Petrov's account, coming from different sources. Obviously, the remittances, transfers from the Arab Bank and from Jeanette Obiena were resorted to in order to recover the irregularities committed by EJ Obiena and to make it appear that Mr. Petrov was paid his coaching fees, when in fact, he was not. Based on the proof of payment sent by Petrov as well, the first payment he directly received from EJ Obiena was 3,000 euros in September 2020 for his coaching fee and virtual competition bonuses, which is 28 months delayed compared to when EJ first received a budget for coaching fee dated May 2018. As you remember in the timeline, starting May 2018, we already sent EJ a budget for coaching fee, but he was only able to pay Petrov in September 2020 based on the sent documents by Petrov himself. Also, regarding the falsification of documents, on October 8, 2019, EJ Obiena sent to Jeanette Obiena an email with attached signed acknowledgement letters for payment of coaching fees of Mr. Petrov in the amount of 2,500 per month for months of May to November 2019. The said email was then forwarded to PATAFA on October 18, 2019. So for 7 months, it was claimed by EJ Obiena that he was able to secure signed acknowledgement letters by Petrov. Considering that the first payment of 3,000 was made only in September based from Petrov documents, the acknowledgement letters for May 2019 to November 2019 with electronic signature of Petrov are all falsified. These acknowledgement letters made it appear that Mr. Petrov received his coaching fees from May 2019 to November 2019, when in fact he did not receive any fee for the said period. On the left portion of your screen, you will see the actual email of Ernest John Obiena transmitting the signed acknowledgement letters signed by Petrov sent to PATAFA. However, again, 3,000 euros was only paid in September 2020, but the claim here is that he had already paid Vitaly from May 2019 to November 2019. On the lower portion of your screen, you will see the actual documents wherein the signature of Vitaly is attached, encircled in red font. While EJ claims that he has been asking PATAFA that he wanted to direct the payments from PATAFA to Vitaly directly. Contrary to that claim of EJ Obiena, he had been requesting PATAFA to direct the payment of coaching fees to Mr. Petrov. However, the emails between him and then PATAFA Treasurer Rosilia Arteaga would show that PATAFA repeatedly asked him to give the bank account of Mr. Petrov so that PATAFA can direct the payment to him to avoid additional bank charges, similar to what PATAFA was doing with the coaches of its other foreign athletes. Quoted below is the email of Ms. Arteaga to EJ Obiena on October 30. As I read, pero whose account yung Arab Bank? Baka kasi ask ng PSC yan kasi naka-erase ang account name. I know you want to protect the account name pero sa government hindi pwede takpan. EJ, as highlighted here, kasi you should not be doing this. Kung dinediretso na lang namin sa bank account ni Coach Vitaly ang coaching fees niya, wala ka nang babayaran sa charges. Just like what we are doing to coaches of Natalie Uy, Eric Cray, Christina Knott, and William Morrison. PSC does not reimburse bank charges. Principal amount na accepted nila. We are also charged when we send via telegraphic transfers N26 Bank. Sa N26 Bank, muna hindi rin namin ma-reimburse sa PSC. I am just wondering, pwede mo naman sa kanya iabot ng cash every month and let him sign the acknowledgement receipt. Ganun lang kadali at mas naliliquidate mo na ng mas maaga pa at no more bank charges in your end. That's why mas smooth ang transaction if you directly pay the coaching fee to Vitaly, service fee to your PT and your osteopath. Even dun sa cook, we can directly pay him. Just give us the bank details. We will take care of the bank charges. So please send us the original house receipt, contract, and other receipts, pakilagyan if for liquidation or for reimbursement. Again, this was taken from the actual email between the PATAFA Treasurer Rosilia Arteaga and EJ Obiena. The foregoing email shows that it was EJ Obiena who refused to give PATAFA the bank account of Mr. Petrov and not the other way around. For the recommendations, may I please ask the chairman of this committee to present the following items. Chairman Chukenhoy.
Thank you very much, Noel, for the very thorough discussion of the findings and recommendations. At this point, we would like to call on Mr. Felix Chukenhoy Jr. to relay to you the recommendations of the committee.
Thank you, Attorney Shirley. And thank you, Engineer Noel, for that presentation. The Administrative Committee made this recommendation and approved by the Board of Trustees last December 29, 2021. And these are, number one, Ernest John Obiena be dropped from the National Training Pool of Athletes of PATAFA effective immediately. Number two, a criminal complaint for estafa filed against AJ Obiena insofar as the funds of PATAFA in the amount of 966,389.80 pesos are concerned. Number three, a complaint be filed against Mr. Vitaly Petrov before the World Athletics for violation of the Integrity Code of Conduct. Number four, the engagement of Mr. Petrov as PATAFA coach be immediately terminated. Number five, Mr. James Michael Laferte be declared as persona non grata insofar as the PATAFA is concerned. Number six, a copy of this report with the attachments to be forwarded to the Philippine Sports Commission and to the Commission on Audit based on the following findings of the committee. AG Obiena misappropriated the amount of euro 40,147.92 or equivalent to 2,288,431.44 which were released to him by PATAFA PEC as payment for the coaching fee of Mr. Petrov, which were not paid as of August 2021. And Jeanette Obiena misappropriated the amount of Philippine pesos 624,116.76 she claimed from the PAC under the pretext that it is a reimbursement of the coaching fee paid to Mr. Petrov for the months of January 2019 to March 2019. So those are the recommendations made by the Administrative Committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman Chukinhoy. At this point, I'm sure a lot of you would have questions or clarifications or comments on what has just been presented. So we would like to invite the members of media and those who are joining us via Facebook Live to please address and throw your questions in now. For members of the media joining us via Zoom, if you can just raise your hand using the action button so that we could call on you for your questions.
Attorney Shai, if I
Yes.
may please. I think Mr. Santa Clara is yet to discuss this last slide.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, Al. Before we proceed to the Q&A, can we call on Al to present first this last slide? Al is a forensic accountant who will explain this last slide and before we proceed to Q&A. Al?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this slide is actually not a part of the investigative committee report, but we PATAFA decided, to address these frequent and repeated assertions of the athlete in media since November 16, when he held his first press conference. Okay, he always claimed, number one, the coaching fees have already been paid. Maybe late, but being late is not a crime, so no more issue. Now, we can answer this easily. In fact, it's Tagalog. Okay. Number one, why were the payments made in November 2020, as Mr. Noel said in his report, more than 3 years since 2018? Bakit ganun katagal? Okay, pangalawa. In this period from May 2018 hanggang 2020, September 2020, nasaan yung perang binigay? Who was the money that PATAFA gave you totaling 85,000? That was PATAFA's money. Saan siya pinarada o saan siya nakalagay? Number three, why are third parties paying Petrov when you, EJ Obiena, were given the money by PATAFA to pay your coach? And number four, payments by third parties are not the proper liquidation of the money that was given to you, EJ Obiena. You got the money, you account for it, not third parties. Okay. So number two, okay, Obiena keeps on saying, why am I responsible for paying my coach? Okay. Okay, the answer to that is, for more than 3 years of receiving the money, we never heard any complaints from you. You would never complain, okay? And number two, in October 21, I think you guys saw the slide of the investigative committee. There were email exchanges between Obiena, you, and PATAFA staff. PATAFA staff was asking for the details of the bank statement of Vitaly Petrov so that PATAFA can already pay the coach directly. But you just ignored the question. You never answered it in the email. Okay, number three, why should I do my liquidation? I am not an accountant. Again, for more than so many years, so many months, you were submitting liquidation reports, because if you did not do so, your financial support will stop. So to keep it going, you have to submit liquidation reports. No complaint there from you. Okay. Your mother, Janet Obiena, has gathered from the email exchanges in the whole of October 2021, was helping you do the liquidation because she is an auditor. Okay? And finally, I have been prejudged by PATAFA. He always says that. Ako, na-prejudge na, so what's the use of participating? Okay? Now, number one, on November 15, as shown by the letter in the investigative committee, the letter came from the investigative committee. They were careful enough not to use words, accusing words. In fact, I will quote it. Open quote. It appears that documents were falsified. The key word is appears. Okay. You were also given a number of chances to explain. No prejudgment there. Okay. And finally, during the committee investigation, you were directed by PATAFA committee on 3 occasions on November 29, December 5, and December 11, 2021, to sit down with them in a Zoom meeting for an interview and tell your side. But you failed to appear in any of the interviews. So ladies and gentlemen, we address this because bugbog na ang PATAFA in the media. We are trying to give, okay, these are the answers so that there will be no more questions. You can no longer propagate this, okay? Thank you, Shirley.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Al. So with that, we open the floor for the questions and answers. I would like to start in the order of um, questions coming in. I think first to raise her hand is the lady from Malaya, or is it a gentleman from Malaya?
Good morning to everyone. As you said, it had to come to this, unfortunately. Sir Popoy or Sir Rufus, there is, you in the presentation earlier, just to repeat, there's EJ Obiena for a certain amount of months from May to submitted falsified liquidation reports. Am I correct? Based on the results of the administrative committee inquiry.
Bong, yes. How are you, Bong? It's been some time.
Fine. We'll call you later. Later, ano? I have your number.
Bong, it's nice to see you and hear you. Yes, they were really falsified because at the time that he gave those liquidation reports, Vitaly Petrov was clear in stating that he only received it in 2020. So the 2019 liquidation are all fake.
In other words, the signatures in the acknowledgement of Petrov in the acknowledgement that he indeed received these amounts are also falsified. Am I
That's
correct?
correct. Because his statement by the first payment was 2020. Now, how can there be acknowledgement receipts for 2019? So from the very, very facts, it is clear that there is falsification.
Okay. Who could have falsified those signatures, Congressman Rodriguez, Chairman Rodriguez?
Well, that is precisely one thing that the courts will have to find out. You know, we will be filing estafa cases, but we don't want to preempt the court in finding out. Well, the allegation will be the case is against EJ Obiena. So therefore, those are the facts that we have. So EJ Obiena will have to answer in the courts for estafa and falsification. Yeah.
Okay. Sir Popoy, have we received any latest pronouncements from Sir Jai Bubka? Is he aware that the fact that you are coming out with this results of this inquiry today, Sir Philip? And then we will give way to our other.
I'm not aware of any statement from Mr. Sergey Bubka. The last time I talked to him was, I think, on November 15, when he told me that Petrov had talked to him and had told him or had suggested to him that he, meaning Petrov, should probably withdraw his statement because EJ had seen him and told him he was depressed. He, Obiana, was depressed with regard to some matter involving his mother. This was around November 5, according to Sir J. It was 10 days ago, he told me. And Mr. Bubka said, you cannot do that. You cannot withdraw your statement. I have an apostilled statement, which I will not withdraw because it will lower our dignity and it will lower our credibility. Those are his words.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Before you proceed to the next question, I'd like to acknowledge likewise the presence of PATAFA trustee, Datu Yusuf Mama. So, hi, sir. Our next question comes from the lady from Rappler, Miss Beatrice Go.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I would just like to ask also if the sides of EJ Obiana and Jim Lafferty, which they presented in different hearings, like the Senate hearing, were they considered in the investigation? Because Obiana did say that he was struggling to pay out different emergency situations like injuries, and it's also said that it's in the PSC reimbursement system that's why that they have to provide all those like liquidation forms and all that.
Okay.
Well, Ubiana has been given 3 instances for him to appear. This is procedural due process. Our investigating committee is very well aware of that. And that is why I think on November 21st or another date, he was asked to appear on a later date. On that same day, the committee gave also E.J. Obiana copies of the documents, the signed statement of Vitaly Petrov, and also the apostille documents of affidavit of Sergei Bubka. The first summon, and when they appeared on that, the lawyer said, give us time because we have just been recently been retained by Obiana, and so let us give time for us to assist, to study the case, and to be able to ably advise him. And the committee gave in to that. Then, after that, there was another, therefore, hearing set because they wanted to postpone it. So there was a hearing set date. On that date, the lawyers came and said, we cannot proceed because we have time zone differences and Lubiana is very busy in Italy. Okay, so the committee said, let us give that chance. So then we had a third hearing. Now, in the third hearing, the committee comes in and said, we are not going to appear and to explain our side because we have filed already our case of harassment in the POC. You see, Ms. Beatrice Go?
Yes, po.
Has been given all the chances to appear. He did not. Okay, another thing. PSC Chairman Butch Ramirez, in his good graces and goodwill, initiated a mediation. We, in our side, the PATAFA, through our director, Mama Yusuf, immediately, upon getting the letter from the PSC that they want to mediate and for us to stop the investigation or suspend the investigation, immediately, Beatrice, we immediately said, yes, we are going to go to a mediation so that things will be settled. In other words, try to mediate and settle things. Now, what happened? Now, more than 10 days, they did not, Obiena did not respond to our Chairman Butch request for mediation. In fact, after that, in about December 26, he already announced to the whole world that he is not going to join the mediation because he filed already a harassment case in the POC. So this particular situation the mediation would have been able to mediate and for him to give all his side to the issue. He can bring all the receipts. If he alleged that Petrov has been paid, he'll bring it, and we're open to see what his papers are. But Beatrice, he did not want to go to mediation. So on December 27, the PSC said, we discontinue this because Obiana is not going to join. All of these opportunities, Beatrice, had been given to him. We have suspended investigation, but after the declaration of Chairman Butch that there will be no more mediation because of the failure of Obiana to join the mediation, we continued with this, and that is now the product. We have to therefore proceed because the other party does not want to participate. And so therefore, these are all based on the records, as you have seen this. So therefore, those are the findings and those are the recommendations, Ms. Go.
All right.
May
Thank-
I add, Shirley, may I add to that? May I add to what to the manifestation of Congressman Rufus Rodriguez? I think we should always
Yes, sir,
fast.
briefly.
Okay, we always go back to the point that liquidation should be in the form and in the manner that is prescribed by the Commission and Audit and the Philippine Sports Commission. Yan lang naman po ang basihan dito. Yan lang ang batayan. Is it in the form and in the manner prescribed? Does it follow the rules? Yun lang. We are a rule-based group, organization, and everyone is supposed to be looking at compliance with the rules. Yun lang. Doon ang focus lagi natin. Tama ba yung liquidation ba yan? Makatotohanan ba yan? Arithmetically correct ba yan? Totoo ba yan? Believable ba yan? Credible ba yan? Is that not contrary to ordinary human behavior? Yun lang po.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Philip. Our next question actually comes from the chat box. This is from Ms. Cristel Satumbaga of Manila Bulletin. Hi po, my question po is, were all the recommendations by the investigating committee now being implemented? Meaning, has EJ been dropped from the national team already? Many thanks. So maybe someone from the committee can answer that?
The President will answer that.
The President, okay.
Yeah.
Sir Philip?
Well, you know, the recommendations have just been made public today. So we will have to sit down and work out the mechanics, the procedures. People will have to be notified. Arrangements have to be made. So it is not an instant thing that we can do. Filing of cases will require, again, documentation and all sorts of things. So we have to abide by all. It's medyo mute ka muna. They can hear you.
Sorry.
What you call this? So hindi pa na-i-implement yan. It will soon be implemented right after this press con. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Mr. Friedrich. Sir?
Hi, good morning everyone. Clarification lang po, doon po sa recommendations, yung figures po, magkaiba po doon sa na-mention ni Mr. Chukinhoy. Ano pong tama pong figures? Is doon po sa number 2, item number 2 ng recommendations, tsaka doon sa number 6. Napansin na po namin, yung naka-flash sa screen, magkaiba po yung figure na sinasabi po niya. Ano po yung tama?
That's correct. That's correct. So can we have therefore the final figures? Because that's correct. The one that I have here in the report is different from what is on the screen. That has to be explained. So can we ask Chairman Chukinhoy, because he was the one who read other figure from the report, which is the proper figure, so that everybody will be satisfied, Frederick.
Sige po, para po tama po yung report namin. Baka po magkamali kami.
Engineer Noel, can you please inform the body?
Yeah, the right figure would be the one presented and flashed on the screen. So for everyone, please refer to that information based on the slides presented in the screen. Thank you.
Noel, can you repeat that? Can you repeat how much is that?
Para sigurado po.
Ito, criminal complaint of estafa. Amount of, let me see, what is that now?
6,000 euro po yung nakasulat sa screen. Tama po yan.
the screen. Let's have the screen so that we will clarify that this is the real figure.
May I? Chairman, may I? Because we
Yeah,
worked
yes,
on this last
please
night.
proceed. Yeah, you are forensic accountant. Yeah.
Yeah, we worked on this last night, and I noticed the recommendation. The 6,000 is actually represents the coaching fee of Petro for 1,500 times 4. Yan yung coaching fee.
Yeah.
Na the subject matter, it's not the whole amount of 996. It's only 6,000 times. We made it 60, so it's 360,000 pesos. Yan lang yung coaching fee from May 2018 all the way to August 2018. Okay?
Very clear. Yeah, very clear now. Yeah, yes.
Now,
But the
the
other
other
one,
figure,
another
the other
figure.
figure po, yung remaining accountability of the athlete from the 85,000, minus lang namin yung talagang binayad niya a total of 24,000 euros. Because as the report says, as Engineer Noel said, the committee did not consider the third-party payments. So ang lumalabas, 85,000 minus 24 is 60,000 yung sinabi ni Noel kanina sa slide. Okay?
To clarify, clarify. So first, the second paragraph of the recommendations, it will now be a criminal complaint for staff to be filed against EJ Obiana insofar as the funds of PATAFA in the amount of 6,000 euros or
Yes.
360,000 pesos. Okay. Frederick, you got that? That is
Yes.
the figure. Number
Yes, sir.
2,
Yeah.
6.1. The 6.1 paragraph. EJ Obiana misappropriated the amount of, can we now get the final figure that will be sent to the COA?
Noel,
The final
60,000?
The final
61?
figure, Chairman, is 61,000 and 26.80 euros.
61,000.
And 26.80 euros, Chairman.
680. And how much is that in pesos?
That would be 3,661,608 using the 60 pesos forex exchange rate.
Okay, so for the clarification for everyone, 6.1 would now read, EJ Obiana misappropriated the amount of euro 61,026.8 and in the pesos amount of 3,361,608 pesos. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Now, our board, when we approved this on December 29, said that this will be further discussed by the committee to get to the final figures. And this is the final figure that we have received now. So we have given the authority to the committee to revise the recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more
Okay.
question. Sir, one more question last. Sir, meron po bang pinirma kontrata si Petro with PATAFA? As coach?
Philip is on the phone. Al, do you know?
Yeah, there was a contract that was signed, pero we have to consider now. This was not flashed in the screen, but I made a comparison of the signatures that Petro used in signing that service contract. Okay, that was sent to the president. Okay, and compared it with his question and answer signatures. They're different. So besides, the premises and the conditions only applied to 2019. Okay, it doesn't cover anything on 2018. That's the only thing that was covered, 2019. So based on the fact that we still have to hire a signature expert to determine which of the 3 signatures that Petrov has on file with us. Is it the one that he signed with the question and answer on October 4 and October 7? Or is it the acknowledgement receipt that was submitted by the athlete? Because it looks different, okay? I wish if Noel can find that slide, maybe you can flash it on the screen because I made a side-to-side comparison of those signatures. What we need a signature expert maybe from NBI to determine that.
Yeah, also in the interest of time, if I may rephrase, so your answer to Friedrich's question is that as to the existence of a contract, you are confirming there is a contract in existence, but as to its authenticity, that is one another thing that is subject to another forum and another discussion.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much po.
Okay, the next questions I'll actually be reading from the chat box. And in the interest of time, and if I may, I will already be answering what I can. So the first is from Peter Paul Patrick Lucas. Good morning, Dr. Rico. May we know if you have already talked to Mr. Sergey Bobka lately regarding what is happening today? What is his reaction, please? This has already been previously answered by Dr. Rico. And the next question from Mr. Lucas as well is, will Congress continue with its investigation? I believe that is something that is for Congress to answer. We can't second guess whether they will be continuing with its investigation or not. So unless,
Let me answer.
okay, would you
Precisely, I
like to
asked,
answer?
precisely in the first hearing, I asked for the continuation of the hearing if EJ will not go to mediation. And in fact, I would want that this particular committee of Congress proceed so that we will ask the written sworn statement of EJ Obiena. So yes, it will be the decision of the Committee on Youth and Sports. But in that first and last hearing, I said we continue so that we can get at the bottom of things. I am prepared to uh, to appear in the if there will be a hearing called, and I would request the committee to call a hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For members of the press, we will actually be sending all of you copies of the presentations in this morning's press conference. Next, may we call on Mr. Peter Gabriel Atencio from Manila Standard?
Um, Good morning po. Ito po tanong ko sir, how do we ano pong kumusta po ang ating communication with the POC regarding what went on and the investigation, how they will reverse the personal grata issue, their thing.
Well, Shirley, may I answer now?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, first, there is a board resolution of PATAFA stating that those proceedings of the ethics committee are void ab initio because the POC, the ethics committee, they do not have jurisdiction over this matter. That is our latest communication, and that will be our continuing communication to them. And that's it, unless Congressman Rodriguez wants to add something.
Yes, Peter, thank you for asking that question because the POC is governed by its POC constitution. The POC, the Philippine Olympic Committee, has a constitution. And what is the power of the POC in that constitution? Let me cite to you, therefore, Article 3, Section 1M on the powers of the POC. What does it state there? The POC, I am now reading verbatim, the POC shall act as the final arbitrator of all intra-NSA conflicts and disputes, as well as cases arising from or in connection with the Olympic Games or any form of doping offense, in which cases the same cannot be settled or resolved with the NSA's processes and procedures. What does this mean, Peter?
Yes.
It means that the POC is a final arbitrator. In other words, final, meaning there has to be an NSA. The NSA has on the first instance the primary jurisdiction of intra-NSA conflicts and disputes. And certainly, the dispute of the non-payment of an athlete in the roles of the PATAFA, EJ Obiena, and the PATAFA itself is intra-NSA conflict, Peter. Now, the problem here is that EJ does not want to go to the PATAFA He does not want to go to the PSC mediation. He went to the POC. That procedure is wrong because but the POC can only acquire jurisdiction after the NSA has already made a decision on the conflict that is intra in this particular case. So that is clear. That is why President Tuico appeared in the first preparatory hearing with the lawyer and says, yes, we received your summons. We maintain, rightly so, reading their own constitution of the POC, that it is a final arbitrator. It's not even arbiter. Arbitrator lang eh. It does not decide arbiter. Arbitrator sila final. So only after the NSA, and that is what we did. We continued with the NSA PATAFA investigation. Now, as to the issue, that is why as chairman of the board, we approved this resolution rejecting the POC resolution as null and void ab initio. First, because of this particular, their own constitution. Second, the resolution of the POC talks about declaring Philip Huico as persona non grata. We all know, Peter, that persona non grata comes out if there is an insult on that body, like POC, Congress, the city council, for example. If a person insults that body or imputes crimes on that body or makes allegations against that body, that is the time there can be persona non grata. In this case, it is an intra-NSA dispute. And Philip Huico came to them and said, look at your constitution. You have no jurisdiction. So how can there be persona non grata there? Is there an insult by our president, Philip Huico, on the POC? None. He was present in the first preparatory meeting. We submitted our position that there is no jurisdiction. No, there is no insult. There is no imputation of bad motives to the POC. Where is the basis for the persona non grata? None, zero, nil. And that is why we in the board is rejecting the POC as null and void ab initio and beyond their powers and jurisdiction. Thank you, Peter.
Yes, sir. Salamat po sa
Okay, thank you, Peter. I'm sure everyone had questions also and was wondering on the PATAFA stand on the persona non grata issue with the POC. But let's bring the discussion back to actually the meat of this press conference, which is the findings and recommendations of the administrative committee. We have a question from the chat box. Mr. Wico, has EJ Obiana submitted liquidations already? Was it forwarded to PSC or COA? That is again from Mr. Peter Paul Patrick Lucas. Sir Philip?
I will defer to the investigative committee because they've been monitoring this.
Okay.
Please.
Can anyone from the
Investigative
investigation committee, Chairman Chukinhoy or Noel?
As of now, there are still some liquidations that are yet to be submitted by EJ Obiana.
The question is, did Obiana submit to you liquidation papers? That's the question, Noel. That's the question of the chat
Yes,
box.
and were these forwarded? If he did, were these forwarded to the PSC or COA?
Yes,
Yeah.
the liquidation submitted by EJ Obiana to PATAFA were also forwarded to PSC through PATAFA.
Okay, thank you very much. The next, I believe, is the gentleman from Abante. Sir?
Oh, hello po.
Hi, Lito.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Just like to ask about when will the PATAPA board act on the recommendations? Do you have a time frame as to when to file the case? And last, other than the case on Vitali, has the administrative committee look also on the possibilities of non-payments to other person that is with EJ's group or those person working with him?
Let me let me answer the first part. The second part, I will leave that to the investigative committee. The first part, as I mentioned earlier in a question, I think posed by someone else about whether we still have to sit down and have a plan of action on how to proceed to implement the uh, the recommendations that have been approved by the board. A lot of staff work still needs to be done. You second part, you were asking if there were other allegations, if they notice other unusual transactions or something like that.
Chairman, question ko po is, has the administrative committee found out also if there are possible na non-payments dun sa other person working with EJ?
Okay, let them answer, please.
Thank you, Sir Popoy.
Hi, good morning. So the admin committee was tasked primarily to focus on the coaching fees of Petrov. So as far as the committee is concerned, we just focus as the coaching fee is the focal point of this investigation. So basically, we will not be able to answer you whether if there or if there's none, there's no other irregularities made by EJ outside coaching fees. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noel. May we call on from the Daily Tribune, Mr. Ivan?
Good morning po. Sir
Good
Philip,
morning.
with regards po pala kay EJ, ngayon po na in-expel na po siya sa National Training Pool, will he come home na po ba from MIA?
We don't know what his
Hello.
plans. Basta we will just implement this. It is up to him what he wants to do, how he will do things. I cannot speak for him, and I will not speak for him.
All right po.
Okay, so due to time limitations, may we have next Mr. Peter Paul Lucas, but sir, may we limit our questions to maybe one or two to give a chance to others to ask as well.
Thank you, Mr. Wico. Good morning. I'd just like to ask, the money is supposed to be coming from the Philippine Sports Commission, which is public funds, right? So I'm just wondering why the PATAFA is the one filing case against Mr. Obiena when it's supposed to be PSC's money. Di ba dapat ang PSC po mag-file niyan?
Okay. Would the administrative committee want to answer that, or lawyers?
Yeah. Would you want to answer that, Chairman?
Yes. The STAPA filed by PATAPA, these are funds coming from PATAPA. So that's why the criminal complaint of STAPA is the one, because this comes from PATAPA funds. And those coming from PSC and public funds, we refer that to PSC and to COA with our reports and attachments to be the one that will be the one to file the case against Obiena and Janet Obiena, the mother. Thank you.
Meaning, eventually, PSC will be the one filing the case, not PATAFA? Ganun ba ibig sabihin, sir?
Yes.
Mr. Philip?
Yes. Kasi hindi naman pera ng PATAFA yun eh. That's the pera that's public funds. So it's PSC and COA should do the appropriate things or filing.
Peter, let me answer that. No, there are two funds involved here. There are also funds to PATAFA, which we are filing for STAFA. These are the 6,000 euros from PATAFA. This is not PSC. These are PATAFA funds. Okay, because we also gave him for this for the to EJ. That is 6,000 euros or 360,000 pesos. So that is PATAFA fund. That's why we can file, because that is the money of PATAFA. We are the complainant. But then the bulk of 61,000 euros or 3.3 million, that is the amount that was given by PSC to PATAFA and given to EJ, which we are now submitting to PSC. It will be PSC because that is their money, which will be, they will decide on what to do with that. If there is no liquidation, then they can decide. We cannot preempt them on what their actions will be. And that is why we have sent a copy of this report, and the amount of 3.3 million pesos are now referred to the PSC, that is their money, and the COA, because that is government funds. Okay? Would that be clear, Peter? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So it's clear to me that you're only filing a case.
Let me add lang. Ha? No, let me add doon. Ha? The money that Obiena got from the PSC, he requested from us, from PATAFA. PATAFA endorsed the request to PSC. PSC issued a board resolution, prepared the check, put it in the name of PATAFA or Mr. Obiena. So in other words, Mr. Obiena is a member of PATAFA. He's under our jurisdiction. He is acting as a member of PATAFA. Therefore, we are looking into his culpability because he's a member of PATAFA. Okay? You are right, that is PSC money. It's up to them if they want to pursue a case, as mentioned by Chairman Rodriguez.
Mr. Wico, that being said, so we're trying to say that if PSC decides to file a case, they will file a case against PATAFA and not EJ because he's a member of PATAFA?
Well, hindi kami ang muna niyan. We did not use that
Sabi
money.
niyo po, kayo ang nag-request eh. So,
Peter, the money was directly given by the PSC through this board resolution to EJ. So yeah, sinong culpable? The one who received the money from PATAFA, from PSC. So that's clear. That's clear. So they gave it directly to EJ. But we requested it, but the transaction is now between PSC and Obiena.
And that is the way it works, Peter. All NSAs. An athlete goes to an NSA, has a request, the NSA requests on behalf of the athlete.
all right.
Yes, and
That's the procedure.
yeah, sir, Mr.
May I
Lucas,
have-
I think we also cannot second guess what personalities outside of this press conference will be doing, such as the PSC.
May I have two more questions, sir? Just very important ones. First is, you mentioned COA, but COA is always post-audit. They cannot look into the matter until a liquidation has been made. Hindi naman sila pre-audit. Pangalawa, Mr. Wico, what will be the effect on the expulsion of Mr. Obiena sa international stints niya sa IAAF? Will there be any bearing? Like, can he still be play? Can he still play for the Philippines, or he can just play for himself? Can he still be entered in competitions?
Well, if we go by ordinary standards, he needs to be endorsed by the PATAFA. Okay? Kung walang endorsement, hindi sila, he will not be able to play. But again, that is something that we have to discuss and look into. Okay?
Meaning, sir, pwede siya maglaro on his own kung hindi IAAF sanctioned?
I will not be able to respond to that. I'm not familiar with the non-IAAF or with. In other words, these are all speculative. It's very difficult to speculate about these matters.
Okay, at this, yes, in the interest of time, we actually have time for maybe 2 or 3 more questions. So I will be reading one question from the chat box. Yes.
Really, let me just answer, Peter. This is
Okay.
right for COA, Peter. Correct ka, post-audit. But precisely, according to the auditing rules, 30 days after the money is being spent, has to be liquidation. Over years na ito eh. So therefore, the COA can now really look into the matter because there has been no liquidation beyond the requirement of 30 days liquidation. So that is why we have sent this to the COA. The COA has jurisdiction because there has been no liquidation. Okay. And Shirley, can we allow them to continue? Let us not limit our media friends from giving questions. I'm ready to answer up to the afternoon or midnight.
Okay, but we'll balance it with the time. Yeah.
Yeah, let us hear them because this is a very important. This is a decision that we take, which is really important to the nation. And so yes, let us continue and let us finish all those who will ask, and we will answer them. Yes.
Okay. Gang, could you share your question with the group, please?
Hi, good morning. I'm Gang from Project Steady Asia, and I'm asking as a mental health clinician of national athletes. Is that all right, sir? I get it that the crux of the matter of the morning is about money mostly and honesty and irregularities, but I have another question if it's all right, with your permission, Rodriguez and
Yeah, please proceed. All questions are
Thank you.
questions are correct.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Sir, are the recommendations that you just gave optimal? I get that there are irregularities and they need to be addressed and they're distinct, but the distinct contribution of Mr. Obiena is his athleticism. It's his athletic performance. I'm not saying you give exemptions, certainly give sanctions because there have been irregularities, but was this the best way? Is there another way we could have done this without compromising his pace, his training? I just want to know if all options were squeezed. Kasi sir, kasi PATAFA and Mr. Obiena, you both need each other. You're both institutions. And I get it, there must have been sira yung symbiotic and harmonious relationship right now between the PATAFA and the athlete that is certainly holding his own for the country. And I think I'm asking not to give exemptions. I'm just saying, was there another way to do this? Am I too naive to ask that there must have been another way to fix this? Engaging those around him or him, whether he contributed to the mess or not? Could we have done this without losing sight of EJ's primary role, which is being an athlete, and yet still, of course, make him address the money and the irregularity and audit, of course? I'm not saying you exempt him. I'm just saying, was this recommendation to get him out of PATAFA's favor optimal? Did we squeeze everything, sir? Kasi I'm not understanding it. I'm confused.
Okay.
We might want to take care of the situation around the athlete. Is that okay? Is it okay to ask this?
No, we will answer. As our chairman said, we will answer all questions. We will answer. First, you have to appreciate the fact that, as we have said, especially Chairman Rodriguez.
Yes, sir.
We gave Mr. Obiena 3 opportunities to respond. Okay, official, but he chose to go elsewhere. We said we will join the mediation of PATAFA, of PSC, and we urged him to join the mediation.
Okay.
On one occasion, one of his handlers sent an email, said, please talk to EJ. Please take the first step. And we did.
Okay.
And we did.
These were all internal, sir? This is all internal, no media involved yet, not public?
Wala. We're all quietly done. This was around the first week of December, and our top official called him up because he requested to talk to us. But he said he could not do it openly because some parties were preventing him from talking to us. And we're saying, why are you trying to withdraw from this? You have a strong case.
Okay.
We have a strong case. You can do this. We can get rid of that guy, meaning me. So he thought. Tinawagan siya.
Okay.
Now, point blank, he was asked, "Oh, EJ, how can I help you? What can I do?" Sir, I just want to clear my name. No, but EJ, what can we do? Who do I want to clear my name? As if the guy our interpretation is as if the guy says thinks it's that simple because he's an Olympian. You just wave a magic wand and say you are cleared, and that's it. So we asked several times. Okay. Earlier, I asked him, I wanted to talk to the psychologist, a Dr. Kasuga, whom I met 2016, 2017, when she wrote me expressing interest in being a sport.
I may cut you there kasi baka this is private information of EJ. Baka it's not okay to share it in public. Is that all right? I just thought I'd ask na squeeze natin lahat ng, na-try ba natin lahat ng options? Kasi right now, parang we're helping him and I'm feeling a frustration that perhaps there could have been a fight to fix instead of a fight to drop.
There was a fight to fix. Okay
po. I wasn't aware of that.
And I'm just giving you the details.
Okay po. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, if you don't want me to proceed anymore with the rest of the story.
I mean, not the personal information of the psychologist and the...
No, I'm not referring to the personal information. Remember, the psychologist is being paid by the PATAFA PSC. Okay? So to that extent, I am exercising my duty as part of my oversight. So I told EJ I would want to talk to the psychologist. The psychologist said, I have to get the permission of the client, the EJ, because she might be compromised. I said, EJ is not the client is us, PATAFA and PSC, because we're the ones paying. He is the recipient of the services.
Wow, actually, sir, that's...
No. Let me finish. What I wanted to do.
There's confidentiality between a therapist and an athlete.
Yeah,
I'm actually a therapist. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teka muna, hindi na tayo matatapos ito.
Okay lang. Sorry, my fault. Sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Pinapaliwanag eh. I wanted to get a 360-degree view of what was going on with respect to that aspect of EJ. In the same way, I wanted to get a 360-degree view with what was happening to EJ as an athlete, with respect to his health, with respect to his skills, with respect to his strength and conditioning, and with respect to his mental health, mental toughness, because that is the idea. Sports psychologists and other service providers must work in harmony with the persons, with the team of the client. And we are the head of the team. So in other words, we reached out. But we couldn't reach out because even Coach Petrov said that Obiena built a wall between him and me. He wanted to cut me out, PATAFA out of what was going on, and he cut me out again. In the case of Dr. Kasuga, and now there is a case against me with the POC because Dr. Kasuga claims I harassed her. So it was just an exercise of So in other words, sinubukan namin lahat. You know, I even talked to the parents. The parents said, sir, you can take the point of view, tell EJ that consider you his second father. And EJ says, yes. Then later on he says, if I'm the father, he would rather be orphaned. Okay. So we would. In other words, Dr. Gang, sinubukan namin. We reached out several times. But, you know, we also have our institutional integrity, institutional reputation. It is not just me, it is the PATAFA. Okay? So we try.
Thanks for answering. Thank you for taking the time out to answer my question. I appreciate it.
And thank you for the question because it's very relevant.
Okay, thank you. So I think very exhaustively, Dr. Wico clarified that they've exhausted all avenues before actually resorting to the recommendations in the report. I will read two questions from Julius Manicad from the chat box. His first question is, Janet Obiana used to be the PATAFA auditor, while her husband, Emerson, is a national coach. Have you already heard it from them? Will this affect Emerson's standing with the federation? And his second question is, If the Arab bank account belongs to Dubai-based James Lafferty and the Metro Bank account to Janet Obiena, then who owns the bank account in Germany? Italy is quite far from Germany. Do you think Obiena owns that?
Okay, I'll answer the first question, and then I'll
Okay.
leave it to the others in the board and the administrative committee and Chairman Rodriguez to answer the second, and even probably answer the first. No? The first question is what would be the status of Emerson Obiena? Right now, he is the coach. We just waited for us to officially announce this, and then we will take care of all of these personnel issues. Okay, so tapusin muna natin ito. This is the biggest issue on hand, and then later on we can deal with that. A lot of this also has to do with your own values and the way you view things. Okay, so that's it. We haven't discussed with Mr. Emerson or with Janet kung ano dapat ang gagawin, anong suggestion. Wala pa. We're just finishing this. Now, on the second matter about who owns those bank accounts, I will ask the investigative committee I will defer to them.
Hi, good morning. So for the question regarding the N26 account, yes, it is confirmed through the document submitted by Vitaly that the account of N26 the account holder is Ernest John Obiena.
N26 meaning this is the Germany account?
Yes, this is the
Correct.
German account in Berlin. It's like, I think it's like an app. It's like their Gcash there.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you.
Yes, Bong from Malaya, your hand is raised, or do you have a new question, or was this the question you
Yes.
previously?
That
Okay,
was
thank you.
deliberate on our part. Thank you, ma'am. To Sir Popoy or to Congressman Rufus, when are you set to file the ethics complaint against Petrov with World Athletics, and what will be basically the grounds for filing that ethics complaint?
Okay, first, we will give a report to the World Athletics and to our Asian Athletic Association right after this meeting. We will brief them on what is happening, on what has happened, on the recommendations, and we will also brief them on what the POC is doing in terms of interfering with our internal affairs. Number two, on the issue of Petrov. Petrov made a collection agent out of me, PATAFA. PATAFA. He came to us and asked for help. We were able to help it in the process. As I mentioned before, medyo nilaglag niya si Obiena. Later on, when he was approached na to salvage the situation for the other group, nilalaglag naman ang PATAFA at ako, and even Bubka by saying things like we were forced and all that we forced him and all of that. So we're going to the ethics committee because of this kind of behavior, dishonest behavior. This falls within the applicable persons provision within the code of ethics of the World Athletics. We are talking here about values. We are talking here about we are going beyond money and all of that. So we will have to deal with him separately, and we will. And we will. Hindi maganda yung papalit-palit ka na una ito ilalaglag mo, mamaya konti. Parang, it's unethical. So we will do that. As I said, but it's may proper timing. And also, we have to master and mobilize all of the data before we give to the World Athletics, which will be within the next few days. I can assure you.
Thank you, Sir Popoy. Thank you very much, Attorney Shirley. God bless.
Thank you. Actually, I have a question actually for one of our athletes, Philippine athletes, because this issue is actually bigger than EJ Obiana and just PATAFA. There are hundreds, or if not thousands, of athletes under PATAFA. So I believe Miko Del Prado is here joining us. He is a member of the Philippine track team as a member of the 4 by
Yes
400
po, I'm
relay.
here.
Yes, hi Miko. Um,
Yes po, I'm
actually,
here.
I just
Hello.
wanted to ask. Hello, I just wanted to ask a question. I came into I got my hands into this pledge of support from athletes, and if I may read and quote, it's entitled Paghayag ng Pagsuporta mula sa mga atleta ng bayan, dated January 3, 2022, and I'm reading just a part of it or parts of it. Um, it states, ang totoo ay lahat kaming mga atleta ay binigyan ng financial support galing sa buwis ng taong bayan. Kapalit nito ay ang responsibilidad na ipakita na ginagamit namin ito ng tama sa pamamagitan ng liquidation. Ang totoo ay lahat kami ay nagli-liquidate. And it ends with, sinusuportahan namin ang transparency ng PATAFA sa pamumuno ni Chairman Rufus Rodriguez, President Popoy Wico at ang buong Board of Trustees. Sinusuportahan namin ang investigasyon kung paano ginamit ang pera dahil responsibilidad nating alagaan ang buwis ng bawat Pilipino. So this is something that just came across. I came across. I'd just like to confirm if this is a statement issued by the athletes nga talaga. And number two, I'm curious lang kung lahat ba kayo, or at least from your experience, nagli-liquidate ba kayo ng funds? And paano nyo to ginagawa?
Yes po, that's true. And we only fighting for the truth po kasi. And we continue to support the PATAFA regarding to this situation and liquidations. And that's true na lahat kami nagli-liquidate. We are buying our own spikes and PATAFA are giving us money and we liquidate that. And that will not hinder us not to train because you just need a proper time management, where to use the training time, yung paano mag-liquidate. Hindi siya totally hadlang sa bawat pagiging atleta namin. And that's true na kaming mga atleta talaga nagli-liquidate.
Okay, thank you, Miko. Gaano kadalas ka po nag-liquidate?
Usually once a week eh. Every week kami nag-liquidate, or there are times na pag DBC, kaya naman hindi naman. Kasi parang we get used to it. Parang hindi ka naman na parang hindi naman siya parang ano ba? Iba-ibang formulas. Like you always, kung anong ginagawa mo everyday, ganun din naman yung gagawin mong liquidation in every situation. So parang hindi na siya bago sa'yo everyday. For example, we've been the national team for 4 years. I'm part of the national team for 4 years. So I think it's easy for me now to liquidate anything that we've been requesting to PATAFA.
Thank you.
All. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
just have
Okay.
a question to Miko, Shirley.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Miko, are you related to the great Isidro Del Prado?
Yes po, that's my father, sir.
He's my idol. He really is the champion. So again, so I hope you will follow in his footsteps. Thank you very much, Miko. Nice to see you. Give my regards to your dad. That was the
Miko.
time that we have Lydia De Vega and Isidro Del Prado winning the Asian Games. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Miko, I'm curious lang, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. Okay.
I'm 26. Sorry.
Oh, I'm curious lang kasi I don't know how complicated the liquidation process is, and someone of your age can do that regularly. Okay, Ivan, may we have your question, please?
Ayun po, for Sir Popoy, if in the if let's say na pumayag po nun si EJ na mag-undergo na mediation, would he have gotten a lighter verdict po ba, or will it stay the same po?
But it depends on what happens during the mediation. Hindi naman, I cannot anticipate that. There are things, I think, from a lawyer's point of view, there are things which are not mediatable. May limit yan. Pero as much as possible, at least there is an attempt to come forward and explain. For example, explain those documents. Yun. Yun ang starting point niya kasi yun ang issue. So I cannot say what could have happened because we don't know how people will behave. But we know what we want. We know what the direction that we're supposed to take. We know what our objective is. We know what our role is.
Right. Thank you.
Just a reminder for the members of the press, we will be sending you a copy of the presentations. Now, if you're using an email address different from the address where we sent the Zoom link, can you please type it in the chat box so that we can make sure that you get a copy of it? Okay, I think si Jojo Posadas is also with us. He's is Jojo here?
Ma'am, good morning po.
Hi, good morning, Jojo. Yeah, Jojo is actually also sorry. Can you Sir Philip, kindly mute your
Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
Forgive me.
Okay.
I won't do it again.
No worries. Okay, so Jojo is a PATAFA coach. He coaches the triple jump and the sprints. So Jojo, if I may ask, similar to what I received from Miko's end, this is naman a show of support from the PATAFA coaches. And if I may read, I actually just got this morning. It said, pagsuporta ng mga PATAFA coaches para sa PATAFA, Chairman Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, President Dr. Philip Elawico at Board of Trustees. And if I may quote in part, responsibilidad naming tulungan ang ating mga atleta na makamit ang kanilang pinakamagaling na sarili para sa kanilang kanilang events. Ngunit isang malaking parte nito ay ang pagiging gabay sa paghubog ng kanilang pagkatao at pagpapanatili ng integridad ng bawat atleta na bubuhat ng bandila ng Pilipinas. What do you mean by this po, sir? Could you expound lang?
Yeah, actually, as being one of the coaching staff of PATAPA, where they really have a moral obligation, a major obligation to follow in accordance with the PATAPA procedure or law. So, being a coach, just like PATAPA as our parents, our mother office, parang magulang yan eh. Kailangan i-monitor namin ang proper training, proper character, proper development of personality and attitude. So, we have our moral to monitor and to supervise the athlete, not only for training, for their attitude, character, and so on. And we have to respect our office. We have the primary to respect our association because they were the one who are supporting us, taking care of the everything. So as being a coach, so we have to abide everything, all the in accordance with the PATAFA rules, So especially liquidation. We have our obligation and responsibility to do that kind of liquidation because it's public funds or people's money. So pag binigyan kami ng responsibility ng PATAFA, you have to submit official receipt. We don't have to make some sort of lang na liquidation. We have to follow like my template kami, may system of kami ng mag-liquidate. As long as submit it, official receipt, and kung ano man yung responsibility sa liquidation namin, you have to abide this procedure ng PATAFA.
Okay, thank you very much, Jojo. We're actually approaching lunchtime, so I'm sure it's been a very eventful morning for all of us. There were a lot of information relayed, both old and new, a lot of questions answered, hopefully. But for those questions that we were not able to answer, you may include them in the email, reply via email when we send you the presentation documents, and we will try to respond to you as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we would actually like to call on Dr. Philip Wico to close this press conference. Sir Philip?
Rufus, so closing, giving the first closing remarks, and I will follow him. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we thank all those who are present today. We thank our board of directors who are here, our president, our athletes, and our coaches who are here, and especially our members of media who have been present and have been able to receive the findings of the investigative committee and the affirmance and the approval of the recommendations and findings of the committee by the Board of Trustees. So thank you very much, and we hope that this will, clarify things, and this will settle also the issue once and for all. Thank you very much.
Okay, if I may now.
Yes, please go ahead, Sir Philip.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me echo our words of appreciation and thanks to the media, to the general public, and those who have phoned in their own sets of insights and remarks. No? As I said, we were thrust into this situation, the PATAFA. We did not look for this. We walked into it. We did not ask for this. On the contrary, the report brought so much sadness and feelings of betrayal. But we had to face the challenge because as stewards and professionals, we should account for all the funds, government and private, given to us. We have a fiduciary responsibility over PATAFA, shorn of all moral, ethical considerations, which our present times consider less important than winning or making money. We do not cherish being investigated by the COA, the Ombudsman, and later on tried by the Sandigan Bayan. That's the pragmatic long and short of it. So the board has accepted all the recommendations of the administrative committee. That includes removing the 26-year-old young man who knew the consequences of what he was doing, as he repeatedly produced those spurious documents. He now has to face the consequences, which could have been markedly different had he chosen to believe in people who he has known for the last several years from his childhood. Let those parties he chose to align himself with continue to help solve these problems and situations. We will be there to help wherever we can. As for me and PATAFA, we had been minding our own business until Petrov blew the whistle, so to speak. The irony of this is that Obiena and Petrov are now again together for their own reasons. We have done our job as far as Petrov is concerned. He has his money, a windfall he never expected. We were a good collection agent, and he is the latest of the old model of a jukebox. Good luck to him too. He will also eventually be explaining his conduct to the World Athletics. We will continue to move on we have many plans, including sending a select group of athletes to a 3-month training camp overseas so that in accordance with equitable development, more athletes will be given the chance to get specialized training and access to higher level competitions. These are two of the several ingredients necessary for world level excellence. We can also listen to others, to new modes of resolving crises, including this one, disputes and conflicts, and despite our decisions, so long as these modes comply with the law. To those who think that this was a personal battle, you can see that the entire board is behind all of these actions. To those who think that winning or getting gold medals and earning commissions from tournament winnings and endorsements are the only things that matter, I refer to one of my favorite journalists, Vergel Santos, who in the middle of this episode in our life said, quote, morals or medals? How can there be honor in the latter without the former? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Philip. So, with that, we will now close this press conference. Again, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And at this point, it's already good afternoon. So, have a pleasant day and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Tito, thank you for answering my question. Salamat.
Thank you, Gang. Thank you.
Pinasok na kanina.
Isipin niya sa